Hi everyone, this is Krishna Vandanapu, a Business Applications MVP, Microsoft Certified Trainer. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will learn all about forms. We will learn about what is a form, type of forms, associating data to a form, what is OnSuccess and OnFailure properties of the form and how we can make use of it, how we can use the same form for adding, editing, and viewing a list or table item, customizing the form, how to add the new data cards, and how to add new controls in the form, how to identify the recent updates on the form fields. Last but not least, how we can change the form orientation is what we are going to learn. This video is from a beginner to expert level. We will learn each and every aspect of form. If you are visiting my channel for the first time, this is the best time to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get all future updates on Power Platform and tips and tricks to create performant artifacts in Power Platform. Without any further delay, let's learn each and every aspect of form. This is a simple app to manage all the device orders. When user clicks on add device, it shows up a new form. Whereas if user clicks on all devices, it shows up all the list of devices in the inventory. And then when I click on that, the very same form I'm using for edit. When I click on this pencil icon, I'm converting that form from display form to edit form. Let us do this app step by step so that we will learn each and every aspect of the form. I'm creating a new screen. Let us go ahead and add the form control. Where do I find the form control in Power Apps Maker portal? Go to Insert. Under Form, we can add form controls. Remember, like as any other control in Power Apps Maker portal, form is also one control, but it has two variants. One is edit form and the other one is display form. As the description shows on mouse over, display form is to show the provided list item in a read-only mode. But whereas edit form is to show the provided list item in a editable manner. Also, I can mimic the edit form as a new form. Let us select edit form. The time I select form, it will get added onto the screen. Now, the next step is associating the form with the data source. How I can associate the form with the data source? Either connect to data by clicking here, or you can go to the right side properties and select the data sources associated at the app. For our understanding, I have added one SharePoint list and one Dataverse table. If you want to associate SharePoint list or Dataverse, all you need to do is select which data source you want to associate. For now, I'm associating SharePoint list. Will there be any difference by switching the data source? No difference. All you need to do is you need to choose. When I choose the different data source, it automatically says that replace my data cards. When I say replace my data cards, the Power Apps Maker portal will automatically restructure the form. So let's go back and select the device inventory. Now that the form got all the fields, what are all these fields? These are the fields which the data source has by default. Whatever the fields data source has, it comes automatically. Let's go ahead and see that. Now here we can see all those fields. The very same fields we see as part of our form also. But one thing we have to remember is when you associate the data source to the form, it will add all the controls as data cards. Each and every data card will come with 4 fields by default. The first control is to show whether this field is a required field or not. If the field is by default required field as defined at the data source, the star icon will automatically come. As we could see, for price appeared by default because the price is mandatory field. And error message, if there is any error at the time of submission, it will show error message, data card value and data card label. These are the 4 controls part of this data card. Now I have added the controls on the form. If I want to rearrange these controls on the form, how I can do that is go to edit fields, drag and drop these controls. Say that now I want my memory as right next to device ID. The time I drag and drop the control, the form fields are getting rearranged. If I don't want any of the form fields to be as part of my screen, all you need to do is click on the ellipsis icon, just remove the controls. This is how we can associate the data source and also add and remove the fields as part of the form. Now let's go and play the app and see how it behaves. When I click on play, I see no item to display, because if you remember, we have added edit form. We know that edit form always expect an item to show to edit the item, but this time I don't want my form to behave as edit. I want my form to behave as new form. Select the form, go to the properties, go to default mode property of the form. Now, if you see, form mode is what? Edit. Now just remove that edit and just say dot. It will show you three properties: edit, new and view. Edit is to edit an item, new is to accept new values, and view is to render the provided item values. Now I want my form to behave as a new to read new values. Now if I play the app, now this time it is letting me enter the values. What is next step is push the data to data source. Go ahead and add a button. On the button, the beauty with the forms is you don't have to worry about how you can push the data to data source. Say submit form of whatever the form name you have on the screen. In this screen, I have the form name as form 2. Just select that. When you submit, it will submit all the data from app to data source. When I play the app, now when I click on this button, what happens? The data will submit back to data source. Let's go ahead and click on submit. There you go. Though we convert the form as a new form, why do I see this issue? When you submit the data, it submit and it immediately expect the item, because the form has a property called edit. When you submit, we are not resetting the form. When you are submitting, the data on the form will be submitted, but the default behavior will go back to edit. If we don't want to see that message, what you can do is, once you submit the form, say reset form of form 2. What it will do? It will submit the data and it will clear out the data on the screen and it will show as a new item form. Let us test that again now. Play the app. See that now I can see a provision to add new item details. But this time when I submit, see what happens. The details got submitted, but I did not see that message as no item available. It submitted and it automatically reset my form. If I go back to my data source and I see both the items got submitted to data source successfully. Now we understood that how we can submit the data. The next important property we need to understand is OnSuccess property of the form. When you recollect, when I click on the button, the data got submitted to data source, but there is no update to the user whether the data got submitted or not submitted. How I can show that is form as a property called OnSuccess. Now, if the data got submitted successfully, I want to show a message to user stating that, hey, the data got submitted successfully. On success property of my form, I am notifying the user as the data got submitted successfully and the notification type is success. Let us see how it will be when I play the app. Now, if I click on the submit button, now the data is getting submitted. There you go. I am notifying the user as the data got submitted successfully. Like the way how we have OnSuccess property for the form to show the success message, we also have OnFailure property for the form to inform the user if the submission got failed. Why the submission would get failed. Think about this. Today, the storage field at the data source is mentioned as single line of text, which is text field, which means that I can submit my device details as 512 GB or 1 terabyte, whatever the way I want, with text in it. But if I change the data structure of this field from single line of text to number, if I change the data type and come back here, and if I try to submit, what will happen? Now I'm submitting the device details intentionally with the title as storage test, so that I can see on my data source whether that data got saved or not. I have given my storage as 256 GB. Remember, the database structure got changed from text to integer. Now if I click on submit button, there you go. I started receiving an error stating that input string was not in correct format because the storage cannot be with non-numeric value. If I go to my database and I don't see that recently submitted data. But how I can handle that exception is on failure, I can notify the user. Now what I'm doing here is I'm informing my user that, hey, ensure all the data is accurate as per the DB structure, and the notification type this time is error message. Also, I want to retain my data back on the screen unless the data is submitted successfully. How I can do that is go to button on select, just remove that reset property from here and put that reset property on success of the form, because once it is success, then only I can reset my data. If not, I want to leave the data back on the screen so that user can make the required modifications. Now let us test. When I click the button this time, I see my custom error message on the screen, and also I'm retaining my data back. This is how I can ensure my user is getting notified accurately. Now we are able to submit and we are able to capture the exception also. Now let us make use of the same form both as a new form, edit form, and the display form. How I can do that? On success, what we are doing, we are notifying the user and we are resetting the form. Rather than resetting the form, let us read the recently submitted record to a local variable and set that value back to form, so that we can see the details intact but the details in a display mode. Use the formula as update context and create a local variable as lvar last record, meaning last submitted record, form2.last submit. Form2.last submit will always give the recently submitted record. Since we are assigning this value on success, it is always successfully submitted record. Copy this variable and go to item property of the form and assign there. Now what are we doing? Once the data is submitted, we are assigning that record to item, and then I need to convert my form from new form to display form or view form. So now again go to default mode property of the form. Now what are we doing? We are making my form to behave as new form to view form if the record is not empty, right? Let's play that. When I submit the form, the data has to submit back to data source and convert the form mode from new form to display form. Here it is. When I click on submit, it got submitted and immediately the form got converted to display form. If you see, the data is non-editable way. So now I want to make this form as editable also. How I can do that is, let's add a pen icon here to convert this form from display form to edit form. I have added a pencil icon. On the pencil icon on select, I am adding one more local variable as lvar edit record true. This local variable I will be using as part of my form default mode property as lvar edit record is true and the last submitted record is not blank. Then convert my form as edit mode. If not, if the last record is blank, which means that it is a new submission, so the form will behave as new. If not, that very same form I am converting into view. When you notice, I am making use of the same form for editing, viewing the data, and submitting the new item also. Now play the app, click on edit. There you go. The very same item got converted into edit mode. Now I am making some changes as 11th generation and say submit. Though the data got submitted successfully, why it did not convert into display is on form success. I need to convert my local variable edit flag to false so that it will come in display mode. See this. Now if I submit again, there you go. Because once every submission, I need to convert my form behavior from edit to display. This is how I can make use of the same form for submitting a new item, editing the item, and viewing the item also. The next one is form customization. What do you mean by form customization, Krishna? If you see here, I have all the details here, but I want to add a section in between these 4 lines by adding the new data cards. Select the form, edit the form. Here under ellipsis icon, click on the ellipsis icon, add a custom card. When you add the custom card, you can do whatever you want on the form. It can be a data, it can be a form beautification also. What I have done is under the data card, I have added a label and I have changed the fill color to green and the text color to white and made the text to bold. Now I want this to be in between these 4 lines. Go to form, edit fields. I can drag and drop this right next to device type. Just for example, I have just moved manufacturer, name, processor, device, all these details to the below panel and this panel general information. This is how I can customize my form to make my screen more readable way by adding custom cards on the form. The next one is identify the recently updated fields on the screen. Now that our form has minimal number of fields, it is very easy to understand like these fields are modified. But imagine my form has say like 60 fields. How do I know what are all the fields got updated when I am updating across the screen? To identify that, select the data card, unlock the data card, because unless you unlock the data card, you will not be able to make any changes on that data card. Now I want to highlight my border color of the text field onto red if the data is updated. Select the text box, go to border color, and when you go to border color, this is the default formula you will see. Because form, if there is any error on the form, it will turn the border color of that text field to red. Along with that, now we want to turn the border color to red if the value is modified as well. I'm going to say if there is no error and the actual data is same as the existing data, then show the regular color. If not, show the red color. Now let us go here and say, when you notice here, it is not the same. So what? It converted to red. What is the actual value? This is the actual value. See that? Now if I just remove gen here, it is immediately converting my text field color to red. This is how I can identify what are all the fields got modified and not saved. And the last functionality for forms is changing the form orientation. Now I can see the form is coming in 3 column orientation. How I can understand that is select the form and go to columns. It is showing 3 columns. When I convert it to 4, it automatically shifts. When I say 3, it shows as 3 columns. But remember, when you change the columns, this data card is also behaving as one of the data card on the form. Another thing is that if you want to show the form into a vertical or horizontal layout, you can convert the layout of the form by just switching the layout from vertical to horizontal and horizontal to vertical. And when I say just say 1, that is when you will really see the difference. When you say horizontal, it just shows the fields in a horizontal way. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learned all the various important properties of the form control in Power Apps. If you like the video, hit like, add your comments, subscribe to my YouTube channel for all future notifications. Thank you. Have a nice day.